plastic surgeon draws attention when he commits a grisly murder during an operation. He claims he was possessed. With faint images of pentagrams popping up all over.
Could witchcraft be at play? The agents investigate as the bodies begin to stack up.
This is not happening.
What we have to do here is keep calm and do nothing out of the ordinary. The appearance here of any dissembling or impropriety will only deepen the FBI's probe, on top of Dr. Lloyd's insurance investigation.
Dr. Lloyd has made us a target.
The last thing we need is to be caught up in an expose.
Then they start looking at our books again. I mean, it's bad enough we have to explain why buttock lipo sculptures cost $4,000 a pop.
We look greedy. Therefore, we look guilty.
We haven't done anything wrong, Dr. Alekwa.
If we give any credence or credibility to Dr. Lloyd's story, they're gonna burn us at the stake.
What about the other personnel? They were talking to the nurse. Wait.
She can't tell them anything because she doesn't know anything.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You are listening to This Is Not Happening, another X-Files podcast with me, Andrew, and as always, my good friend Mike. Mike, do you have a Triscuit in your mouth?
It's my turn to be unprepared.
Fair. And to be honest, this is the episode that you could possibly eat through, or maybe not. Like,
What?
There's some moments that I might not want to be eating, but generally, what an entertaining episode.
It's an interesting take for the X-Files to approach plastic surgery.
Well, it was an interesting topic, as you may have guessed, listeners, as it's probably on the title of the feed.
This one's
we are going to be
secret.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
Super secret special episode.
That's right. Maybe Mike has pulled a fast one. We are talking about Sanguinarium, the 6th episode of season 4, which in 1996 drew 18.85 million viewers to the episode. It was written by some contractors, some people that were completely outside of the show ecosphere. Vivian and Valerie Mayhew. Do you know anything about these writers, Mike?
I don't, but this is their one-off, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Never come back. I did a little digging. Would
Yeah,
you like
please.
to hear some other things that they did? All right. Well, one of the Mayhews, I'm assuming they're sisters. I could be wrong, but
They're lovers.
if they're not, my apologies. One of them wrote for Compromising Situations, an erotically themed TV show in 1994. Yeah. The other one wrote Playboy, 101 Ways to Excite Your Lover.
Excellent.
And that went straight to video in 1991.
What a shame.
So, I mean, listen, whatever way you got to do to get into the biz,
Hey.
right?
I ain't judging.
No, exactly. I'm sure these are quality products. But they have written themselves a lovely little script about witchcraft and plastic surgery.
Do you think there's a
Which,
correlation between the plastic surgery and the porn industry writing?
Oh, well, I guess I know a little about skin.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, this one received an enormous number of angry letters and emails from supporters of Wicca complaining about the treatment of the religion in this episode. No surprise.
Oh, wow.
It's, I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say this one is complicated to try and understand. I don't know about you.
I don't think it's that bad. Like in terms of understanding it, it's, you break it down, people are being sacrificed as a ritual that a doctor is doing so he can remain pretty forever. It's simple. I don't need a super crazy explanation as to what's going on here. So I don't know if maybe I'm just not reading enough into it. But
You're spot on. You're spot on for the reasoning, but the method is what throws me.
Okay.
It's like, as you know, I'd like them to have some rules about how the show is going to do its thing. Even better if you set it up at the beginning, like if we have a villain and they've got a power or something they can do, lay it out so that now we know the challenge our heroes are going to face. You know, if he can turn invisible and these are the conditions in which he turns invisible, then the challenge becomes how do our heroes react and answer that problem. The issue I have with this episode is that it's never clear I mean, right up into the end, we stumble across the finish line with that's why. And to my mind, that's why it's kind of unsatisfying. Okay. It's like, sure. And we all lose, because he gets away with it. But that we can say for the end. I'm assuming you'd like maybe to have me start talking about the episode.
I'm happy to keep talking the way we are.
Well,
there is no time limit, sir.
I suppose there isn't, but realistically there is. It's the attention span of our audience is the time limit.
They're putting the pressure on us.
They are. Well, shall we start the ritual of this one?
Cut into it. Let's open it up.
Yeah. Suck out the bodily fat of the episode.
No, that's too shy.
Sprayed over a carboy. Different episode. Well, Mike, we open with a tracking shot of black lines scrawled over a human stomach. We're in the aesthetic surgery unit in Greenwood Memorial Hospital, Chicago, Illinois. A female patient is being reassured by Nurse Waite, who tells her that Dr. Lloyd has done over 1,000 liposuctions, and this won't hurt a bit. They wheel her over to the operating room, giving her a tranquilizer. Nurse Waite checks in with the doctor, who's scrubbing his hands, scrubbing them so diligently he's sweating, and scrubbing so hard he's drawing blood from his fingers. Which, Mike, is what I want my doctor to do before he begins a procedure on me. I don't know how you feel,
absolutely.
But that's what I want.
Absolutely. Open wounds, sticking around, rooting around my body.
But he's protected by a latex glove, which is our next shot. The music turns from soothing to creepy with a good old sting, and we cut to the doctor in the OR, snapping on a latex glove over his bloody fingers. He turns on...
Just going to do sound effects the whole episode while you
I think that would be great. He turns on the lipo machine and gets to work. Can I have a sound effect of a lipo machine? Excellent, excellent. He gets to work as a single high note from Mark Snow lingers. With an incision, he inserts the liposucker and fat begins draining into a carboy. He begins drawing fat from his patient, increasing its intensity. Nurse Waite checks back in. We're in a different scene. You can stop that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nurse Waite checks back in with her female patient. The patient wonders if Dr. Lloyd is going to be much longer as her tranquilizer is wearing off. Nurse Waite looks confused and doesn't know. We cut back to Dr. Lloyd, who is literally sawing away with his liposuction tool, fat draining into the carboy and rocking the body of the man on the table in front of him. Dr. Lloyd looks like a man possessed, and soon the carboy begins to fill with blood, not just fat. Nurse Waite goes to check on Dr. Lloyd, who sees him hacking away on a TV monitor. Opening the door, she interrupts him in shock, and Lloyd turns to her saying, "I think this patient is finished." I see what you did there, you sly devil. We cut to the credits. Mike, what did you think?
That is gruesome.
There's a hell of an opening.
And you know what?
Yeah.
You can hate this episode, you can love it, whatever, but their fucking effects in this episode make you cringe. And I don't cringe easily, but damn, when he is going to town, when she opens that door...
Yeah.
He is just going to town. It's like, fuck?
It channels a lot because, I mean, I don't know how much time you spent in the hospital, whether you've had any procedures done, but
yeah, a few.
There's this sense of vulnerability there. And they really exploit that with the patient that Nurse Waite is checking in on. He's done 1,000, you're going to be fine. And then you see the sweat coming off the doctor. It's like, this is going to go badly. So you think, that poor woman's about to get fucked somehow, right? The bait and switch is that it's some other guy,
he's fucking someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So you're there vulnerable on the table. I mean, I don't know what kind of anesthetic this guy is on that he is sitting there and taking that, but maybe he's already dead at this point.
Yeah, he's probably already dead.
Yeah. But boy, what an opener. It begins strong. I will give it that.
Definitely begins strong. And that shot of the tube, adipose, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
You see it slowly turn pink and then a gush of blood go. That's disturbing. Like that is clever stuff. I love that. Like our mind has already filled in the gaps, but then they're like, okay, this is what's happening now. He is now killing this man. It's just very subtle, very
from
cool.
bad to worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show don't tell is very much alive in this one. It's good stuff. I mean, for the opener at least. And to be fair, if you're going to shoot for the moon, start at the beginning with a big open and mission accomplished. It's a good one. Let's see if it maintains.
Yeah.
We're going to return to Dr. Lloyd, who's being interviewed by Mulder and Scully. Dr. Lloyd cannot explain his actions and is trying to cope with what he did to his patient. Mulder suggests spiritual or demonic possession. Way to begin to hide. Which doesn't go well with Dr. Lloyd's lawyer. Scully presses on the obvious angles. Is Dr. Lloyd taking any medication? To which he responds with sleeping pills and antacids. But he can't remember how much sleep he got before he performed the lethal operation.
Do you recognize the lawyer?
The lawyer? No, you're going to tell me who he is.
That's Scully's boyfriend from Jersey Devil.
He has come far.
Scully's date. Oh, boy.
Well, she doesn't even recognize him. And he's probably like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm just going to sit here and glower at you. I'm going to defend my client.
Did we barely finish dinner together?
You look familiar. All right, good stuff. Scully tells us about Sominal, the sleeping pill, how it's popular for how it works, but it has addictive properties. In fact, Dr. Lloyd was a very regular user, using it over 5 years with 1,900 tablets. As the two walk through the hospital, Mulder does not miss the chance to ogle an attractive nurse as they head to the crime scene. But thousands of unremarkable procedures, no anomalies, Mulder is not buying that Dr. Lloyd's just suddenly snapped.
You're missing my point here, Mulder. This place is a veritable factory. Cosmetic surgery is the boom industry of the medical world, and ASU wards like this are a gold mine.
Everybody's doing it, so I hear.
And a brand new state-of-the-art facility like this can support an entire hospital.
What do you suppose these are?
What?
These 5 marks on your brand new state-of-the-art floor.
Small circles in a 5-point orientation, scorched onto the brand new floor. Between the 5 points, sketching out a star.
Andrew, what does he use to trace this?
A tongue depressor, I think.
And what, like lead or paint?
Oh, I think that's blood.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fine for the crime scene.
Is it okay? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, totally. It's, in Illinois, it's a little bit more lax
That's
than
true.
any other state.
I grew up in Rockford. I was born in Rockford.
Yeah.
We are a little bit more relaxed out here. We're not all uptight about clean and sanitary, untouched crime scenes. We don't really care who comes in and who fucks with shit.
At the end of the day, you're just going to choose somebody to go to jail.
Yeah.
Evidence is not really important.
We are known for our dartboard convicts, where you just chuck it and see who it lands on.
It really does matter how much money you spend on a lawyer. Yeah. That's what it's worth noting there. Yeah. So he traces lines in the blood between the 5 points and he sketches out a star. Whoa. Definitely does not sit well with Scully, who goes on to report that there are over 80,000 deaths by a doctor per year, and Dr. Lloyd was an accident waiting to happen. That is clearly what's happening here. Well, Nurse Waite emerges from another OR, and when Mulder asks what procedure is happening in that one, she rightly asks who the hell they are. They identify themselves as FBI agents and proceed to ask her some questions, mostly in the vein of, can you tell us what the fuck happened? To which Waite can't really answer. She helped prep the patient and did her job. And she is unimpressed with Mulder revealing that Dr. Lloyd is claiming he was possessed. She says, it's cheaper than malpractice insurance, I guess.
Burn.
Another doctor, Dr. Shannon, emerges from the OR and chides Nurse Waite to keep up. When Scully wants to ask the doctor some questions, Dr. Shannon shuts her down completely. I have a patient who can't wait. Scully's spidey sense starts tingling. There's magic going on here, Mulder, only it's being done with silicone, collagen, and a well-placed scalpel. Ooh. I gotta say, when Dr. Shannon first came out, she's in her scrubs with a, scrub hat. Mm-hmm. I did not recognize her.
She looks very different.
Yeah. I thought she was completely, so much so that I went and compared.
She glue up.
The hair is a big factor.
Yeah, she definitely looks different and better later in the episode.
Yes. And we're about to meet our whole staff of doctors, our cast of characters, and it reminded me a lot, not going to lie, of Die Hand die Verlitz.
A little bit.
Sort of same setup, especially with the big star on the table as the obvious, like, oh, these are where the bad guys are. Mm-hmm. And as we know, rich people are inherently bad. So this is clearly what's happening.
Terrible people.
we cut to an overhead shot of a lovely conference table, complete with a 5-pointed star designed cunningly inset into its surface. A conversation is in progress. The doctors at the clinic are reviewing their options, discussing the situation. It is a bit sinister, as they are essentially going to let Dr. Lloyd take the fall. They wonder about Nurse Waite, but the sinisteriest doctor, Dr. Franklin, played by Richard Bayman of Twin Peaks fame, which, Mike, if you haven't seen the original Twin Peaks, do yourself a favor.
Oh, of course I have.
Yeah, there you go. He reassures them that she can't tell the FBI anything because she doesn't know anything. That's ominous. At this point, who did you think the villain was? Hey?
I mean, they definitely play the older doctor, who is the fine-looking witch man.
Yes, Dr. Franklin.
Yes. He, just because of how confident he looks in this meeting, he's leaning back in his chair, he's got his glasses in his mouth. And then he says something at the end. It's like,
Yeah, she can't say anything. She doesn't know anything. I mean, that implies that there's something to know.
Exactly.
Oh, it's fucking him. That's who you think. And then they do a bait and switch, and then they bait and switch it back.
And then they bait and switch.
Well, we turn now to an operation in progress. An older lady is in for a skin peel, but she can't feel her feet. Oh, Nurse Waite is with her, soothing her that everything is okay. The older lady is afraid to be put to sleep, that she won't wake up. As Waite continues to reassure her, the camera shifts so we can see what Nurse Waite is actually doing. She is removing slugs from the lady's belly and placing them into a beaker, where we can see 5 welts forming the ends of a pentagram on her belly. All right. So now we know who the bad guy really is. It's Nurse Waite.
Of course it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, slugs or maggots or something. That's not good.
Leeches.
Are they leeches? Okay.
I think that's the idea. I don't know, but
they're gross, whatever they are.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them on my belly.
They must be dangerous in some aspect because that's a fake stomach.
You sure?
I'm positive. Look at it.
You don't think that the old lady's got abs of steel?
No.
That's very ageist of you.
No.
Sexist.
You can tell.
At the agent's motel, Mulder is examining his face in the mirror. Could he use any plastic surgery?
It's funny. I like the sudden interest in how he looks in this episode.
Yeah.
A little self-conscious Mulder's a good time.
We have always seen Mulder be a little bit vain and self-conscious, don't lie. And in pretty much every episode, he's always looking in the mirror. So, I mean, it's not like this is
He always adjusts his tie before he heads out with his gun.
That's right. I mean, you always see that. It's not like they invented it for this episode.
He learned from the red-haired man in 731.
That's what it is. Scully knocks and he lets her in. He wanted to show her something. Pops in a video of the operation. The 5 marks of the pentagram were in evidence before the operation. And now this is the first time Scully's seen the tape. She is shocked that Dr. Lloyd basically stabbed the patient to death in his sleep.
Yuck.
Mulder points out that Dr. Lloyd is standing in the center of the points of the pentagram, which is strange, as a pentagram is meant to be a circle of protection. Mulder has Scully read the ingredients of the antacid Dr. Lloyd was taking, and he stops her when she reaches belladonna, also known as witch's berry. And when Scully reacts with, "Do you know how many medications contain belladonna?" Mulder slaps her outside her lane, saying, "Just the one." And I have to admit, I have a hard time believing that A, Mulder knows this, B, Mulder has done the research to make such a claim, and C, that he'd choose to be the authority when Scully's the frickin' doctor. And Jake?
Well, it's Mulder.
All right.
He can do whatever the hell he wants.
The episode
You know why?
is
Because
certainly
he's
written
right
that way.
all the time.
Well, he deserves to put her in her place then, because he's right. We have a good jab from Scully that the culprit wears a pointed hat and rides a broom, but Mulder intones ominously that this situation might be far from over. Ooh, no.
Boy.
We cut back to the clinic where doctors Alacqua and Shannon discuss the recent events of the case, that the FBI appears to have backed off. There in the prep room, Dr. Alacqua is washing his hands, getting ready for a surgery, or possibly leaving. It's not really clear what he's doing.
But he's
Nurse
sweating.
Waite comes in. He's definitely sweating. So Dr. Shannon just has to do a laser peel, and then she's out of here. When Nurse Waite comes in to ask if there's anything she can do, Dr. Shannon asks for some fresh scrubs. She's clearly a needy, bossy person. But Dr. Alacqua responds in a monotone, "No, thank you." He's got that same glassy-eyed look as Dr. Lloyd had from the opener, accompanied by some ominous music that suggests, Mike, that someone is in for a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Alakwa leaves the prep station, and moments later, when Dr. Shannon and Nurse Waite arrive at the OR for her laser peel, the door is locked. They see on the TV monitor above that Dr. Alakwa is inside working on Shannon's patient, and inside we see Dr. Alakwa using the laser to burn a hole in the patient's jaw.
That's
the
awesome.
same sweaty, intense look on his face as we saw on Dr. Lloyd. Dr. Shannon pounds uselessly on the door as Nurse Waite looks on and then flees.
Ugh.
As Dr. Shannon continues to plead for Alakwa to open the door, we see Alakwa's laser burn through the patient's face and emerge on the other side. Fade to black. Whoa.
Disturbing.
What did you think of that?
Love it. Death number
Yeah.
2.
Now,
They come up with some excellent deaths in this episode.
Yeah.
Enough to keep you out of plastic surgery hospitals.
there is definitely a message to be sent here. I don't know if, where the hell is this clinic? Because I don't think lasers of this caliber can do that. I don't know.
I doubted that myself. I don't know if they're trying to tell us, like, if you focus it in the same spot for long enough, it'll burn through. I don't know. I don't know how long he was in there, but it didn't look like it was just like a space laser that just went through her no problem.
The lightsaber lobs the head in half, at an angle.
Thankfully, they didn't go that route where it like Resident Evil grids and cuts her into cubes of meat.
I would have loved if they'd shown the device. It's got a little dial that goes from 1 to 10, and you just see Alakwa like turning it up to click, 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 click. It's to 10, and like the laser's now pulsing.
It's burning through the door before you can adjust it.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man.
After the commercial, Scully is examining Dr. Alakwa, asking him if he remembers anything. He does not, but he does realize now what he's done, and he looks like shit.
Well,
Scully removes
gee.
the container. Go figure, right?
Right.
So she spots the container of pills from his scrub's pocket, and she's going to go check them out. Meanwhile, Mulder is examining photos of a rhinoplasty, and we see he's wondering about his own nose. Maybe he should get some work done. When Scully arrives, Mulder notes he's found something else on the videotape of Alakwa's crime. Showing Scully, we see the 5 points on the older lady's chest. Scully produces the pills from Alakwa. It's the same prescription as Dr. Lloyd was taking. Oh no, there's some corroborating evidence, Mike. Looks like they're doing their job. Anything at this point you want to chime in about?
I think I'm still on board. I'm still reeling from that death. It was a good one. And I'm kind of wondering how these guys aren't just like in handcuffs.
I know. This is I was going to save it for later. How many deaths is too many deaths at the clinic? When do you shut the place down and send everybody home?
Yeah. Closed until further notice, please.
Yeah. Clearly something up. Like one death, you can attribute to a madman and everybody's sad and we're going to take the day. Maybe come back next week when we've all collected ourselves. But with this motley crew of narcissists, I suppose that's like, no, I got payments to make. I need to be doing these operations. The actor that's missing here is the hospital administrator who is going to be saying, oh no, we've got to keep it running.
Right.
The backlog of demand for these services is so much that, we've got people begging us to do these.
How much money are we going to lose if we shut down for a week?
Exactly. That is not evidence except for a moment of passing time later on. But they needed to have that as a person to give some push for why it's still happening, because this is ridiculous. 2 murders in and they haven't just shut the place down. Anyway, we move back to the conference room as the doctors discuss the recent terrible event. They don't want to cover their guilt. Scully and Mulder barge in. Dr. Franklin invites them in, says he wants whoever is responsible brought to justice. Finally brought to justice, no less. He goes on to recount how 10 years ago, there were several deaths at this hospital, all ruled accidental. A few of the doctors were there at the time, but more importantly, Nurse Waite was as well. And seeking to hang her out to dry, Franklin reports that 6 weeks ago, Nurse Waite transferred back and Nurse Waite was present with each of the victims. Damningly, Nurse Waite left the hospital after the last incident and has not been seen since. Well, clearly it's Nurse Waite, right?
It's her fault.
We're 30 minutes in.
She did it.
She did it, clearly. She's done slugs.
She slugged a man to death.
Yeah, this is it. And if that wasn't enough, we are now going to get the sinister Wicca. We cut to a darkened room with eerie incantations being whispered in the distance. The camera tracks through the room, stained glass windows, curtains drawn, candles and sconces. It is definitely spooky. We arrive at a woman, topless, who places small bunches of her hair on a candle. It is Nurse Waite. And we look at her face as she continues to incant. Outside, Scully and Mulder arrive in their car. A cat meows in the distance. They approach her door, knocking. No answer. There is, of course, a broom beside the door, which Mulder suggests gives them probable cause. As well on the door, a pentagram and a circle. Well, there you go. That's it. They bust in, flashlights and guns drawn, seeing the candles and hair, but no Nurse Waite. Well, guess she disappeared, Mike.
She is in trouble. She is our bad guy.
Yeah, she's off to do some more damage. We cut to another place. The legend tells us 1953 Gardner Street, Winnetka, Illinois. A Jag pulls up, and Dr. Franklin gets out, enters his fancy home. Inside, he reviews his mail, tries to switch on the lights, but nothing happens. He hears the sounds of water dripping upstairs, so he goes to investigate. He ends up in the bathroom where he sees the words Vanitas Vanitatorum etched in blood on the bathroom wall. The tub is filled with blood, and a small stream of blood pours from the faucet. Dr. Franklin approaches the tub, and because it's been 22 minutes without any goddamn action, Nurse Waite explodes out of the tub with a knife. The two struggle, but Dr. Franklin defends himself. Waite seemingly disappears. He hobbles away back down the stairs, eyes wide and defensive, until he reaches the phone calling 911, but he is put on hold. Nurse Waite comes at him again with a knife, and they struggle until he lands a few solid punches, and she's out for the count. Well, what a scene. Mike, what did you make of that action sequence?
It was good. I liked it. I liked the sudden suspense and the contrast between the red and the white of the bathroom. I think that was really cool. Really cool.
It's a horror show afterwards. It's just come out and the blood is splashed everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one take, you know.
Yeah, we're not cleaning this up. You got to get this right. Hold your breath.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, it still paints him as innocent, right?
Oh,
or at least to a point. You know, we suspected him a little bit in the meeting, and we are being told that she's nuts. So, yeah, so far so good.
This is my point where I begin to fall off from the episode a little bit. And I really love this scene. It is crazy good. Like from just enjoying the scene factor, like solid action scene, like her emerging from the tub of blood.
A primal look to her that is very scary.
Yeah. But then there's that voice in the back of my head which goes, wait a second, where did you get your tub of blood from? Other than magic, obviously. Well,
it's coming out of the faucet. You saw that.
I know, but from whence does the blood come?
She is a Wiccan lady. She made it happen.
Got a spell, Andrew.
It's just hard water, honestly. It's a lot of rust.
He's got a problem with this pipe.
If it's one thing we're known for in Illinois, it is hard water.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to light that water with a lighter because it'll go.
No, it'll go.
Fracking. Oh, that's Michigan. Sorry, not Illinois.
That was Michigan. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the episode. I'm like, wait, what? No, it is Illinois.
No.
I got you.
You knew what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah, I guess part of me wants a bit more clarity on the extent of her power, because eventually they're going to cast her as the Wicca, the good Wicca who is trying to protect everybody. So it's like, you're really powerful now, obviously, because you're able to invade his home through a bathtub of blood and almost fucking slice him to death. But you're not powerful enough to stop the stuff that's happening at the hospital. Is the upshot.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'll go with you on the blood water. It's almost like they didn't have enough. Here's my point. They did not have enough to make us believe she was the bad guy, so they gave her these weird magical powers for that scene. I can affect liquid and water and make it blood to make it spooky, but it's only for this scene because we need to prove that for some reason I'm Wiccan.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but she's a protector, so why would she be doing this? Like, what is all this fancy stuff about?
I buy that she's going to try and sort of take the head off the snake.
Yes, I do
she's
buy that. She's
identified him as the issue. It would have been nice to see a bit more investigation from her to nail him as he's the guy that's doing this. I get his gambit and I'm going to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
So fine, we don't get to see that. But then her plan is I'm going to break into his house or magically teleport myself through a bathtub of blood. I don't know. But I'm then going to wait in the bathtub of blood. Maybe I've got a little pipe there that I can breathe through that you can't see until he gets close. And then I'm going to stab him with the knife. I mean, it could also be that this is the kind of ritual. She's back home, well, in somebody else's home. She's not at her own home because Mulder and Scully were there and she wasn't. Mm-hmm. So maybe she's in another bathtub and she's able to magically teleport through the bathtubs of blood into his and emerge when she needs to attack him.
Wiccans are just misunderstood.
All I know is a full bathtub of blood is necessary for this effect. And it goes completely without comment from our agents. It's like, it's crazy with a bathtub of blood,
Well, it's witches. You just expect it.
It's not going to feature in their report because it is extraneous.
No, this is fluff. We don't need to mention it.
This, my friend, is another example of the Coriolis effect from
Deanne
Verlitz, where they're going to just go, weird, and move on. Well, there's going to be a bit more of that happening soon, so maybe we'll just get to it. Emergency services, as well as Mulder and Scully, have arrived at the scene of Dr. Franklin's house. Their red and blue lights fill the yard. The cops have arrested Nurse Waite, who demands that Mulder has to tell them something. Someone has to stop him. He's too powerful. But she can't explain further. She has an attack of something and begins to bring up pins from her throat, convulsing and throwing around, flailing to the ground.
That would
Scully goes,
suck.
Yeah.
This is hard to watch.
Yeah, it's tough. Scully goes with her to the ER, leaving Mulder to see the literal pile of bloody pins that Waite has expelled. So,
Yuck.
Actually a thing. In witch lore, the idea of you can make somebody suddenly have things in their throat. Mulder will go on to call it allotriophagy, which ain't correct, apparently, but it's certainly a great word.
He gets it wrong every once in a while.
The writers aren't perfect, so.
No.
Later, inside, Dr. Shannon is stitching up Dr. Franklin. The two of them reassured that it's all over now. Mulder enters, making sure everyone's okay. He asks Franklin if he can think of why Waite would want to attack him, but he doesn't really have an answer, other than he voiced his suspicions, obviously. But speaking of suspicions, Mulder doesn't really buy that. As those suspicions were voiced in private, how would she know? When Mulder reveals that Waite was a practicing witch, Shannon and Franklin are a bit incredulous, but they just want to put all this behind them. Mulder leaves Franklin to rest, and after he's gone, we see the prostrate form of Dr. Franklin levitate a foot above his bed. His eyes open, a big smile on his face. Oh my God, Mike, he's the bad guy.
No way.
I mean, when you levitate above your bed and smile like that, you know you're up to no good.
I'm a good boy.
Maybe because she's a witch and she slashed him with a knife, he's now got witch powers.
Is he going to stab himself with a crucifix?
Clearly.
Okay.
That is what is going to happen.
Okay.
After the commercial, Mulder is again examining his face in the mirror. God, this guy just won't quit. Just get the surgery already.
He's like, man. Maybe he's seeing if his face is on correctly because he's really Sullivan Biddle and he's in disguise.
That is it. Yes, the past life thing, it wasn't just a one-off. It's going to be in every episode now.
Yeah.
It's never really sure.
It's just a mask.
Okay. It just occurred to me. in the effort to make this a better episode. It could be he is considering the change. No, he doesn't know about Dr. Cox yet, so that's all bullshit.
Okay.
I was going to say he's maybe was trying to get to the point where it's like, what if the killer changed their face? But no, this is all fluff.
This is all
It's all fluff. Scully arrives. Nurse Waite, unfortunately, has died 20 minutes ago due to her injuries from swallowing hundreds of straight pins. Scully explains it as a condition called pica, a compulsion to swallow non-food objects, and Mulder goes on to link it to a condition called allotriophagy, which is not what he describes it as, the sudden appearance and vomiting of foul objects associated with people possessed, but rather allotriophagy is it's rather food cravings that are different from the norm. And Mulder found out his knowledge from a book in Nurse Waite's house. So actually, the problem is Nurse Waite's book.
Yep.
Calling it the wrong thing. That's what it is.
God damn it.
Same place I got this. This calendar was open to April. The 30th is marked by a symbol that you're familiar with by now.
What's the significance of the 30th?
It's one of the 4 greater witches' Sabbats. They're seasonal high holy days. According to that book over there, it's also known as Roodmas. It's also the birth date of the first victim. Now, July 31st is also marked with a pentagram. This coincides with Lammas, another one of the witches' Sabbats. It's also the birth date of the second victim.
So you think she was choosing her victims based on their birthdays?
No. Remember, I said the pentagram is a protective symbol. I think Rebecca Waite was trying to save those patients. I think she knew that they were in danger.
Which made her attack Dr. Franklin.
I think she knew something about him. And I think we should find out what that is before he goes back to work.
And he wants to know, Mike, what they're being protected from. More importantly, doing a real shitty job protecting, because didn't do a thing. Didn't protect them from a goddamn thing.
Not a goddamn thing.
We cut back to the clinic prep room where Doctors Franklin and Kaplan are scrubbing up. Dr. Shannon arrives, telling him that the FBI wants to know about patients' birth dates of all things. Dr. Kaplan decides he's going to do Dr. Franklin's procedure not because he's nice, but because they just can't afford to make any more mistakes right now. And for God's sake, have you seen yourself, Dr. Franklin? You're a fucking mess. You can't go out there like that. And is it just me, or does Dr. Franklin have a little smile on his face like, I made you do that?
Just a little bit. Real quick, who's Dr. Kaplan, Andrew?
He was the Boy Scout from Jersey Devil.
No, he was not. But he did grow up fast. No, he is. He is Nemhauser from Grotesque.
No way.
Yeah. Greg Thurloway.
He did not put on a mustache in either of those roles. But he has the scrubs on. That's why.
He's got the scrubs on. You can't see half his head. So
different outfit.
Different hair.
Fair. In their car, Scully gets off the phone. Dr. Franklin has left the building, but one of their patients has a birthday on Nurse Waite's calendar. Dr. Kaplan is taking over for Dr. Franklin. In the OR, the patient is struggling to speak through her tranquilizer. She's having a chemical peel that it's supposed to be risk-free. So clearly nothing bad is going to happen to her.
Nope.
Dr. Kaplan answers robotically, which should, of course, give us cause for alarm as the camera tracks over the chemicals to be used in the procedure.
Best.
Mulder and Scully arrive just as Dr. Shannon starts screaming and screaming. And when the agents arrive at Dr. Kaplan's OR, it's too late. The face of the patient has been chemically burned almost beyond recognition.
So gross.
This
is amazing. Amazing. The death's just... Well, I take it back. The laser's the worst.
Yeah.
And then there's the liposuction. And then there's this. Which, by the way, reused bottle, it looks like, from the last episode.
Directly from the field where I died. It literally has poison on it. I don't know what this acid is, because, I'm sorry, as cool as this is, and it is cool, acids do not work that fast.
Oh, man. That is gnarly.
Literally, you have to pour gasoline on somebody's face and light it. That might get you to where you need to be here, but this, no way.
I thought it was pretty instant. I believe it.
Yeah?
I believe it.
Okay.
This is 100% how it works.
Okay, I like your attention to detail on this totally fact-checked item.
Yeah, how dare you question it?
And what possible anesthetic or tranquilizer is going to dull that pain that you don't wake up during the procedure? I think you're using too much.
Well, to be fair, I mean, there's not much left of her head.
It's a horror show is what it is. I mean, it's not subtle.
She looks like the guy from Creep Show at the end of this operation.
Yeah. Or
Crypt Keeper.
the Nazi from not Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Melts away at the end. Yeah. Well, we get to Dr. Shannon being interviewed by the agents. She reveals that half the hospital's profits come from their unit. Here we go, Mike.
Here's the explanation.
The doctors became wealthy and arrogant. They covered up the incidents of 10 years ago with the hospital's blessing. Their unit was too valuable an asset to lose, even at the cost of 5 people's lives. Among the deaths was one of their colleagues, Dr. Clifford Cox, who died of a drug overdose. And Mulder wants to look at files of Dr. Cox as well as the 4 patients, so that's where we're going to go now. Mulder shares his theory. The patients who died 10 years ago all had the same birthdays as the recent patient deaths, except that Dr. Cox's death didn't match any of the facts that looked completely coincidental. He has Dr. Shannon use her computer software to imagine what Dr. Cox might look like with some cosmetic surgery. And when he asks her to move the eyes further apart and strengthen the forehead, Dr. Shannon lets him know that's beyond their surgical abilities, but does it anyway.
Do it.
Just do it, you know. I mean, indulge me. Even if your software can't do it, you just do it, yeah.
Software can't do it, but it's going to produce a result.
It's going to do it anyway, even if it's just like got a little marker on there saying surgery not possible, do not offer to client.
Where any other computer would say error, unacceptable parameters,
Right.
this would just do it. This one just
Blue
makes it
screen
happen.
Yeah.
The pinwheel of death.
Yeah, that's right. Out of memory. Well, we have our grand realization. The resulting image of the surgically altered Dr. Cox looks like Dr. Franklin. Ooh.
I don't believe
Fate has been switched again back to our original dude. And if that wasn't enough, just to underline that, no, we're on the right track now. We cut to darkness, heavy breathing in the background. The camera moves to reveal a very sweaty Dr. Franklin, carving something with a ritual dagger complete with curvy blade onto a hard surface. We fade to commercial.
So I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I know we joked briefly.
Oh, we joke all the time.
But I'm surprised you didn't have a conniption at how that program worked.
Okay. The reason being, it was missing one very important thing.
Yes, the glowing 100% identified.
It was missing the glowing 100%. Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm really surprised.
This is worse than worse than Squeeze, where they stretch the fingerprint.
The fingerprint.
Because it's literally them just molding 2 different men's faces together to come up with a suspect. It's like, wait a minute. This isn't admissible evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't use this.
It's not surgically possible even, so I don't know why we're going here. I am surprised that they didn't take it back to the FBI lab.
Yeah.
But
you just see Mulder in the courtroom. This video shows, this GIF shows.
Yeah.
This GIF that I created shows that this is the same man with 2 different faces.
Yeah. But you know what breaks this case wide open is just a regular background check on all the doctors here, where they show up with Dr. Franklin and go, turns out there's no record of him from 10 years ago. He just seemed to show up out of nowhere.
Materialized. Yeah, you're hired.
You've got a hell of a record that you fabricated. Marvelous.
You look at least 50, but you're skinny and you talk a big game. Yeah, we'll hire you.
We'll take a gamble on you. I mean, we're stretched to the limit here. Frankly, you got your PhD. We'll take you. Who cares, really? But hey, I dig it. You know, they're there. I think what they're doing is showcasing the fact that this technology exists and they're going to use it to solve the problem. So I'm going to give it a pass.
That's fine.
But you're right. I would normally flip out over something like this. We come back and Scully's asking Dr. Shannon where Franklin might be. She doesn't know. Mulder arrives. Franklin's disappeared. Mulder uses his superpowers, coming up with a theory that Cox has used his powers to make himself beautiful through blood sacrifice. What do you take from that? Other than this is a ridiculous claim.
It works. It's ridiculous, but you know, it works for the context of the episode. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Back with Franklin. He's in an OR. He's picking up some surgical instruments and
a
preparing them
dildo.
Who could miss that, right?
What the fuck is that thing? He put that in her too.
It disappeared, right? Problematic. This whole scene is weird because literally the purpose of this scene is for him to set up Shannon to go into surgery or something.
Right.
So if anybody else showed up here, because
it would have been someone else.
This is where I'm really driving alongside the truck going, nope, I'm taking the off ramp because this is a bit strange.
Nice.
Like the script goes into conniptions to try and make itself work at this point. So just to run through the scene, he's fiddling with the instruments. He's setting them up. It looks like maybe he's going to take them with him. He's going to go away with them, or he's setting something up for some kind of procedure. But no, Dr. Shannon drops in on him. He says, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're here." And she goes to leave. There's a moment with his hands and boom, the door slams shut. Scalpels and other surgical tools disappear from the tray beside him, and we can see from Dr. Shannon's body spasms that they have probably appeared inside her.
Yeah.
He looks on impassively as she falls to the floor. As he leaves, he kisses her on the forehead, remarking that he hopes those instruments were properly sterilized. Ooh, the one-liners, Mike. The one-liners. So good.
Stick around.
Yeah, but why is he here? Like,
yeah, unfortunately,
he's here to wait for her and do the thing, and then he can just walk away menacingly. That's my only takeaway.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they had given him the last victim, and then she doesn't die, right?
Yeah.
So therefore,
sense.
she is not the one that gave him the power to change his face. So what I like to believe is that he was setting up to do what he's doing in the next scene, and she walked in on him. That's kind of where I go with it. Like, she walked in on him about to remove his face. And so he decided to kill her because that's, he's a bad guy. We all know he's bad. So now he has to just up the body count.
Okay.
Willy-nilly.
Except her name is on the pentagram in his house.
I know.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I wish would happen.
Yeah. We'll try and make sense of it, listeners. We'll try.
Oh, boy.
Mulder and Scully, guns drawn, arrive at his house. Mark Snow moves to a low piano and cello. As our soundscape, the agents inexplicably split up. So, dummies. But only a minute. They're saved because Mulder calls Scully back. In the foyer, he sees that there's a pentagram design in the floor, but this one is different. It's inverted. And I ask you, how do you know it's inverted?
Because he's looking at it from a different way.
I mean, all he has to do is go to the other hall and it's totally the right setup. So,
oh, wait, it's positive again.
I was looking at it wrong. It's fine. He's a nice guy. They examine it further to see that the names of each of the victims has been inscribed beside each point, including Dr. Shannon. She's next, Mike.
No!
She's a victim. She's going to die. He's targeting her. We got to save her. That's where they're going to now. It cuts us back to the hospital where Dr. Shannon is on her way into surgery. Doctor demands to know what she swallowed. Why would you swallow that giant dildo? That's ridiculous. They're going to try and extract these items, but she pleads pitifully for them not to do it. They give her some gas to knock her out because clearly she's talking nonsense.
Oh, boy.
Cut to Dr. Franklin in another room who begins a procedure of his own, using a scalpel to cut into his scalp. I guess scalpel cutting into the scalp, that's the right tool. Comments? Never thought about it.
Weird.
Is there a neckle?
A neckle, yep.
Scully and Mulder have arrived at Shannon's operating room. Mulder tells Scully not to let them operate on her, while he tears off to find Franklin. We find Franklin having completed his incision, a bloody line surrounding his face while he looks on with a mirror. He reaches up with a small fork and begins to peel the skin off his face.
Decent.
I mean, this is touching all the horror movie tropes, isn't it?
The only thing they didn't have is something, I mean, they allude to it, but something crawling underneath your skin, right?
Yeah.
They have swallowed objects, but they don't have something underneath your skin moving around.
Or a hook or a series of hooks being put into your skin and tearing it away from you.
Yeah.
That's missing too.
Yeah.
Old Hellraiser.
Good old.
Well, Graham Murray is outdoing himself here. I'm assuming this is all him. And
So
boom.
good.
It's a big one.
This had to be a fucking fun episode to work on.
If that's your bag, if this is your kind of thing, then oh boy, yeah.
Fuck.
In Shannon's operation, Scully barges in, demanding that they stop the procedure. And Mike, this, as you might imagine, does not go over well. Even when she explains she's a doctor and Shannon's death is what she's trying to prevent, we snap back to Mulder trotting through the hospital in a search for Dr. Franklin. He tours the operating rooms, seeing their contents through the video monitors, and he sees that one has an inscribed pentagram on the floor, and he enters. A bloody scalpel introduces us to his entrance. He sees the bloody face of Dr. Franklin on the floor. Back in Shannon's operation, it seems Scully didn't stop the procedure, but Shannon has not died. They've pulled a whole whack of surgical instruments from Shannon's intestinal tract. But the action's not over yet. Oh no. Outside, we hear more screams, and another doctor has committed yet another medical atrocity. And when Mulder and Scully rush to find out what's happened, Mulder asks what the patient's birthday was. October 31st, Halloween, or from the Wiccan calendar, Samhain, the fourth witch's Sabbath.
Samhain.
The agents have failed. Well, if that wasn't the downer, we have yet another little ender. We cut to a Jag pulling up to the parking lot of the City of Angels Medical Center. A dapper young man emerges and enters. He, now Dr. Hartman, is accepting a job in a new clinic. His new boss telling him that with his credentials and his extensive patient portfolio, he probably has no shortage of offers. Dr. Hartman quips that whoever God didn't get around to creating in his own image, it's our job to recreate in ours. Fade to black. Boom. Mike, what are your final thoughts on this?
Bad one.
Actually, before we get into final thoughts, I'm sorry. There's a couple things about that last little bit there.
Thanks.
The direction out of the episode that maybe we want to talk about.
I don't like it. I'm okay with him becoming a different man, and okay, he got away. I don't like his dialogue. It's very forced, very trying to make it fit round peg in a square hole.
Anyone? Yeah.
It's just no thanks. It sounds bad. Like they were trying to be witty. Doesn't really come off that well.
I think they were trying to summarize the entirety of the cosmetic surgery industry in context of this episode.
Yeah.
My issue is the whole business of Dr. Shannon on the table and Mulder says, don't let them do the procedure. I don't understand that. And more to the point, Scully apparently doesn't either because she goes in there saying, stop what you're doing, but they don't. They just go on and do it and she doesn't die. They remove all the instruments. They totally did the opposite of what Mulder wanted. Mm-hmm. Am I missing something?
No, you are right. The end of the episode kind of falls apart.
Just a little bit.
Their explanation as to why Franklin can do what he does, if he needs so many bodies, then he shouldn't be able to get away. But, Shannon survives.
And she's on the pentagram. So
she's on the pentagram. He kills someone else, but he's already removed his face by that point.
But I
don't know.
I don't think it's him who's done the killing. I think it was another doctor. Because I think the last scene...
he's possessed someone else to kill someone else. Yeah.
So, to summarize, Dr. Franklin is a powerful warlock, and he has the ability to possess other people to conduct his need to kill the patients who have the birthdays. So the birthday patients give him the power he needs. It's the weirdest thing I'll say all day. Killing them will give him some of the power he needs to be able to conduct his final ritual of taking off his face and slapping on a new one. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. You can see there's a little bar on the side of the screen throughout the entire episode. You don't really understand what's happening until every time someone dies, it goes up a little bit.
That would be great. That would make this episode better. Except that he doesn't end up killing Shannon and he does it anyway.
Yeah. And he gets away with it. And it's like, okay, she was inscribed on your floor, sir.
She was part of it.
So, yay. Maybe that's why everything starts going wrong. He didn't wait and make sure she was dead so people were on to him. So his plan was slowly falling apart, but he still managed to get away.
Well, yeah. And the thing I'm still stuck on is why Mulder is saying don't let them do the operation. Like, he's implying that the instruments need to stay in her, I think. Does that make sense?
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think it makes sense.
No. Let her die.
Let her die. She's chosen. She's chosen.
It's meant to be. I saw it on the pentagram.
She's already dead. She's swallowed a dildo.
Well, the other thing that I don't get, and we're going back now to the 10 years ago deaths. So we've got 4 patients with birthdays, but there's 5 points on a pentagram. So don't there need to be 5 deaths?
The other point.
Maybe.
All points lead to him at the top.
Except that we have...
Or bottom. I don't know. What are we doing here?
I don't think we have enough deaths in this episode to make it work, though.
We don't have enough deaths.
Because we have Dr. Lloyd did a killing, Dr. Alakwa did a killing, Nurse Waite has died, Dr. Shannon doesn't die, and then there's this final unnamed patient who had the birthday on Halloween who dies. So there are 4 deaths. So I suppose they're covering their butt by saying Dr. Shannon didn't have to die because he went and killed another one, and that allowed him to do it. Yeah. But that was after he'd taken his face off. So yeah. It's so okay. I'm done trying to figure this out. Please, Mike, regale me with your final thoughts.
I don't even think we need to. I think we just kind of final thoughted the hell out of that.
I have a segment here on my script that says final thoughts.
You can read them if you choose.
I demand that you give me a paragraph, well narrated, that explains your final thoughts on this episode.
This episode is an episode of The X-Files. It is mediocre upon watching it another time. I'll be honest, I do like the episode. I enjoy it. It's fun. It lets off the pressure of the weightiness of the mythology and the headiness of what the last episode wanted to be, but didn't really succeed. It's a nice come down from all that, right? It's just, let's have some fun. It's goofy. It's about plastic surgery. How serious can you get? There are some fantastic deaths, some awesome practical effects, which is always going to win points in my book. And capably acted. I don't have a problem with anyone. I think it's really just, it kind of falls apart towards the end.
Yes, I would totally agree with that.
It's not always a skip for me. It kind of sits in, I'll give it a 70% if I had to put a number on it.
All right. Well, let me tell you my paragraphs of final thoughts. I will get this out of the way right at the beginning. The agents are tourists here. I think it is pretty clear.
I'm taking that word out of your vocabulary.
If you take that out, I am going to invoke, you have to come full circle to find the truth.
Oh, for the love of it.
More often, you have a choice to make. They bounce from murder to murder.
Full circle.
Okay, I'll find another word other than tourists then. They are bystanders.
They are visitors in a place they aren't normally at.
That's right. They are just visiting. They bounce from murder to murder, trying to connect the dots, while the unimaginable and unexplainable happens in front of them. What would you imagine would be the limit of negligence that would cause the clinic to be closed, even temporarily? I put it at 2 murders. I think that would be the point where you say, everybody go home. I know we make a lot of money. Yeah, this was really weird, and we probably should just let the things blow over for a little while. I get that the hospital is desperate to keep the clinic open because of the profits involved, but come on, the FBI is involved now. You'd think that after the second unexplainable death, they might shutter the whole place so no one else gets killed. Bad look. But the plot, of course, does not allow for it. Dr. Franklin has to be able to move through his inexplicable sequence so that he can arrive at the end of the episode with a new face. This is perhaps the part of the plot I really can't understand, as the last 10 minutes have clearly underlined. He's got to kill his 5 people to get his new face, so he mind controls the deaths through Doctors Lloyd, Alacqua, Shannon, and then another unnamed patient. And Nurse Wade gets killed in there. And Dr. Shannon survives, so how does he still win? I don't get it. And wasn't Scully supposed to stop the procedure? She didn't. I mean, give me some rules, episode. In short, the episode is too complicated for its own good, and when your bad guy is the devil, how are you supposed to win? It is a pass for me. I'm sorry, Mike. I know you like it, but no, I just wouldn't do it again.
I don't blame you for passing it. Like I said, it's kind of hit or miss for me. I'm like, yes or no. So, real quick, Paul Raskin played Alacqua, and we saw him in the list. And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I completely spaced my retreads from the field where I...
You can't put... you could put it here and then cut it into the other episode.
I'll decide.
Do it in this one.
I think I might... You know what? I disagree. But...
People who listen to us did hit on Sanguinarium here. It could be like...
Screw it. There were like 4 retreads in the last episode, and I had them all written out.
You had your chance.
I did.
You had your chance, and you're just gonna have to record it separately, Trisket,
you know what?
man.
Fuck it. Episode over.
I want to like this episode a lot because Richard Bamer was one of my favorites from Twin Peaks, but yet, alas, I think he does a pretty good job in this episode. Mm-hmm. Listener comments, shall we?
We have one. You go ahead, sir.
All right then. There's one from Aaron M. Haycraft. He says, as someone who likes B-movie gore, I enjoy that part of Sanguinarium. That is the only part of the episode I like, though. I'm on board with you, sir.
Emily Messenger says, I actually like Sanguinarium, too. It's a cool story, and the through line of Mulder seemingly contemplating a nose job is hilarious. And I'll say it again, they're both just so fucking gorgeous this season. I overlook just about anything because I'm blinded by their beauty.
That's fair.
I agree with them. I will say, towards the beginning of this episode, I felt like they were being shot differently because Scully has this vibrant look to her, the colors in her eyes and her hair. I don't know. It just looked like it was different than some of the other episodes, but
it is. They have a different DOP in this one. I mean, it's Kim Manners who directs it, but it's Jim Joffins or something is the DOP in. And you can just cut out the silence. Well,
you mean you're not prepared?
No, director of photography was John Joffin.
Okay.
So not one of our usual DOPs. No. So I think it is a bit different. That was a lot of nothing to get.
That was a lot to get there.
That is the quality insight we provide to our listeners. Mike, we have extended well past. Is it time to leave? Is it time to
I think so.
Leave the pentagram? Well then, with that, I shall give you the final word on Sanguinarium.
Peace. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at TINHXFilesPod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.